169. Episode 169, Keys Bartender.
Let me turn down the music here while you were talking. I'm sorry, that was wrong of me. That is episode 169 of the Keys Bartender. This is Jim, the Keys Bartender. I'm here with Jenna Kelly, Papa Joe, and Damon. And they walked in on the last episode to Eating Asshole.
Eating Asshole, yes.
Yes.
And
they just all like, ooh. Yeah.
Damon's face.
It could have been something like that whenever you're talking at the bar and all of a sudden you hear like a dog's ear go, "You're eating asshole." Like that. No. It's interesting. There's a lady at the bar I know. Her name's Karen. She lives up in Broward with her husband, Scott. And she was just making light conversation when we worked at the Encore. And she starts talking to the schedule. And she goes, we go for cocktails down at the Big Chill, and then we may go out to dinner, and then at 8 o'clock, anal sex. And I went down to the end of the bar, and I just heard that. And I said, "You said that, Karen?" And not that that's a wrong thing. I said, "You just said it in public at a bar at the Encore." And she goes, "I can't believe you heard that." And I said, the sound, whenever you're going to say something somewhat interesting, the music stops, or the music stops talking, and then all of a sudden, that's the only thing you hear, Have
you seen those videos that they post? I'm not sure who puts them on, but they're on Facebook all the time. The ones where they bring, like, the exes, they bring, like, an ex relationship, and they bring them in, and they have a series of questions they have to ask each other, and they can either ask the question or take a shot. Have you seen those? It's freaking cool. So usually it's like these
they answer the question or ask the question?
Both.
So you can ask the question. If you don't want to ask the question, you don't want to know. Like, I want to say, how many guys?
You have to ask the question, but if your ex-girlfriend was sitting across the table from you, then if she didn't want to answer the question, she would have to take a shot. And then it would be her turn, ask you a question. If you don't want to answer the question, then you take a shot. Well, the one that I watched,
you're just making an assumption that they're going to answer truthfully.
Well, I mean, they're making the assumption, but of course that's part of the humor of it. So the one that I watched on Sunday when Tyler was dealing with his man cold before Damon and Joe got here, I was watching one that had the same scenario, but with parents and children. So there was like adult children.
I know, right? I imagine that. You're going to sit with your 12-year-old, do a shot.
This one girl,
hey, how many times have you jerked off into your sock, Damon? And then you take it, and you're 12 years old. And you go, "Well, Mom, I'm going to give me a whiskey.
Give me a whiskey. Give me some tequila."
Yeah, take it.
So this one girl.
What? How many times have you looked at the mother? Goes, "How many times have you snuck a peek at me when I was in the shower?"
He would be like, "I'm going to take a shot.
I'm going to take a
Mom."
shot.
So it's this father and this daughter, right?
Yeah.
And obviously adult daughter, I would guess 26-ish if I had to guess. And she basically said, one of the questions to him was, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how heterosexual are you? To her dad. And she goes, 1 being completely gay and 10 being completely heterosexual. And he looks back at her and he goes, I would say about an 8. And she goes, that is a really great answer.
Well, wait, what if he's not being truthful?
Pinky finger. In other words, he likes butt stuff. Like, to be done on him by females. But
that's what the pinky finger means?
I guess so. That's what he was basically saying, like the pinky finger. Well, so then, of course, his next question to her was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how heterosexual are you? And she goes,
I would go like this.
She says, well, I would be a 1.
I mean, a pinky.
Goes, I would be a 1.
Unless you have a pinky the size of Andre the Giant, right? Unless you have a pinky the size of Andre the Giant, that does not do anything for you.
I guess he was saying
and
because he was the man in his 50s
we
that
should
liked
play
a
that game here for a moment.
We could. Okay, all right.
You want to ask a question?
I have my drink. You have your drink.
I have a drink.
All right. Ask me a question.
I don't know if that's appropriate because you're a married woman. You're with your husband.
My husband is right here. If I don't want to answer it, I can take a drink. Yeah.
Okay. What was the shortest time you knew somebody before you went all the way with them?
The shortest time?
Yeah. I mean, well, even shorter if you know, like an hour.
No. Oh gosh, no. You know, it's funny because my mother is listening, and she will tell you I'm a habitual long-term relationship.
Oh
type
man,
of girl.
I thought I'd get a good. She's going to answer it.
Knew them.
I had a half hour.
Probably a couple of months. Probably 2 months.
Shit.
Knew them. Yeah.
I'm a whore.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
okay.
not-
I'm glad you didn't ask me that question. Then.
Right. Okay. All right. My turn.
Yeah.
All right.
And I believe you. That was pensive.
It was pensive. Okay. My turn. Damon's got a question in mind right now because
you can ask
look
a
at his
question
face.
anything you want.
I was.
You like that? If Pinky decides that
I was
underage.
going to say. So, have you ever had butt stuff done on yourself?
Wait a second. I got to think about this because remember I talked about drinking.
Right.
So
if drunk Jim versus sober Jim.
I had a girl that always tried to go up my, just put the finger up my butt, and all that stuff. You know.
Tried to. You didn't let her.
You know, she could have maybe. She could have done it, but I mean, I can't always say that I was always aware when I was around her and stuff like that. But I never woken up feeling particularly looser than I was before I went passed out. Is that right?
It was. Did
Is
we
that accurate?
Pick up the microphone, one of you. Thank you.
So what
I'm not saying it could. It could. Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge, you've never.
I mean, they always go like this. They go, no. It's not. I don't know if it's not an erogenous zone for me because of the taboo nature of it. I think I've never crossed that Rubicon, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. At 55, I realize that, but at 55, it's like.
So you're saying at 55 you don't care, it doesn't matter. So like if your wife were to give you the pinky
If it was
finger,
important to her, I'd say go ahead. And she has very skinny fingers, so she could go like 3 probably. She could probably do 3. Her hands are.
See, you can tell.
She could probably. I
we have
think
no
about,
quorums on this show because neither of us have chosen to drink instead of answer a question so far.
No, I'm just thinking and stuff like that. And obviously, it's one of those things you don't. I don't think you sweat out. I don't think it wouldn't be to the benefit if I just shut up. If I was really embarrassed about something, I mentioned the Boy Scout master, right?
What?
He wanted to.
The Boy Scout master?
Wanted to put a finger up the butt, I think, eventually. He kept on grabbing my ass when we played basketball one night, and we were sleeping over, and he was trying to play a little grab ass. I was like 13 years old, and I'm like this, and I ended up sleeping in the living room.
Yikes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it
was
a good Catholic.
It wasn't a Catholic league, but that very well could have happened. I'm not defending that behavior. This was on a Navy base. The guy was a third-class petty officer, and I used to like the friend's daughter that was there. Thought she was cute. But when I was 13 years old, I barely knew what to do myself.
Okay, but so then
I knew
the same question on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being not heterosexual and 10 being very heterosexual. What number are you?
I don't know how to answer that one there because I've never done
anything with boys.
Boys, so I can't really answer that accurately.
Right.
I mean, to go and pick that, I don't think there's. I think there certainly is a scale where you could get sliding. I think people fall into the middle of that mostly. I think it's more of a gradient, and I don't even know how to answer that.
Okay,
I'm not a
so
lawyer.
I want to ask that question to Damon because he's holding a microphone. Because Damon obviously is, has a partner named Joe. Who is Papa Joe?
I mean, am I equivocating? Because I've never.
I
So
don't
I don't
think
know.
you are. I don't think you are.
I've been there.
The scales are always going to be skewed from the male to female genders because women are much more open to exploration and admitting that they may have an interest in exploring with a female. It doesn't make you gay, lesbian, anything like that. From an erotic standpoint, if you're sexually open, then you're sexually open. You can take a finger in the butt. It doesn't mean you're gay.
Right. No, of course not.
But
Although
men have historically have a hard time coping with that. They won't explore. They won't allow a woman
Well,
to
I think they won't admit.
Well, they damn sure won't admit.
Won't admit that they
because
explored.
there's a stigma socially that says, "Oh, your girl stuck a finger up your butt. You're gay." That's not it at all. It's exploring. It's exploration.
I wouldn't even call that a fetish. A fetish is maybe the ear or the toe. It is an area of the body that,
yeah,
that could be used for that.
Like,
so it's not abnormal. It's just not one of those things. Like I've never.
I will tell you this. Like I'm strictly dickly.
There's a lot of stuff I haven't done with girls.
Like I'm kind of what even my kids call me. I'm a dude with boobs, but I'm strictly dickly. I don't even like my own girl parts. I don't want to mess with.
It's funny. This week, I think Tyler was there.
So when it comes to heterosexual, I am like 10 heterosexual. Like I am not.
As a woman or a man?
As a female,
okay.
I don't want any. I don't want to.
You like that? How it pops
I don't want to deal with any other lady parts because I don't even like my own lady parts.
But when you ask when you ask the question,
I think
scale,
on a scale,
because I have an answer.
I think women are more attuned to it because of the way they're shut out of. If you're not empowered, let's say empowered for hundreds and thousands of years, not empowered. Guys take women. They're forced on them. So with another woman, you're not forced, right? You think about it. You could have it. The only chance for them to have a consensual relationship with anybody without being declared a whore was with another woman. So they have a natural proclivity for it. So I think it's more social than biological.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And
biological,
social.
I mean, obviously, biological. There is you are. I believe you are born the way you are.
Well, absolutely.
And you have a proclivity. And if you're open to it, you won't like a lot of closeted. There's a lot of closeted people out there, and I bet there's a super small majority of closeted straight people in the gay community. Just from the average.
I can tell you that there's probably zero closeted straight people in the gay community.
No, I mean that's super small. I said super small. No, there got to be one.
No, because who would?
Let's say San Francisco.
But you wouldn't wake up tomorrow and say, "Oh, I'm gay," being
Why not?
a straight man. Because of the social bullshit that hits you.
Oh, nowadays though, Damon.
But nowadays, it's nothing compared to what it was 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I know. 40 years ago or 50 years ago, you could be thrown. Well, actually, until
you'd be stoned,
10 years ago,
hung, you could
go to jail.
A fence.
Yeah, you shot. They would kill you.
You'd been taken out and beaten.
Yeah,
it's not something that somebody's going to wake up.
I mean, in Brunei, you can. It is. They just instituted a death penalty.
Right, and that's exactly why I say
I'm just saying a more open society.
Yeah,
just say like in San Francisco.
Here's an example.
If you grow up in a group, let's say I'm saying the exception rather than norm. Just saying that there's tons of closeted gay people in the straight community, and they're not really in the straight community. They're just pretending to be there. Let's say Lindsey Graham, right?
Well, every
it used to be Rock Hudson, Cary Grant, some of the most famous male actors, and but I mean, it's because they couldn't accept it. Without an English actor, and he's excellent, an English actor, Rupert Evans or something like that, good-looking guy, and he never got a leading role at the game because he was 10 years too early. 10 years too early. It really sucked to be that, and you can't. You're an actor. You should be able to take any role. And then I guess if I'd be super pissed off if I was a gay man and I see a straight guy getting a role playing a gay man, and you go and say, "Oh well, because he's a big actor." You know, Tom Hanks had to be in Philadelphia.
I was just going to say that.
You know what I mean?
Would have been my reference.
I mean, there's plenty of gay actors out there.
Okay, but I still want to hear David's answer to his question. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being completely homosexual and 10 being heterosexual.
But on the scale, are you referring to willingness to do sexual activities or just
attraction?
Attraction.
Yep. Because I already know this.
How do you know
answer.
it's sexual attractive? You could be attracted to someone.
Sexually attracted.
I know. I think sexual attraction is a fine line.
Well, it is, and I would honestly have to say it's probably a 3 or a 4. I am 100% incapable of being in love with a woman. That does not mean that I do not find her attractive, and under certain circumstances would I not explore. Everybody has a I won't say bucket list. That's horrible.
No, yeah, don't say that.
But I can tell you on one hand the amount of women that I would do whatever I had to explore that. Viagra, Cialis, whatever. Of course, they're celebrities.
What is like Charlize Theron?
Danica Patrick is the number one.
I met her.
Love her. I think she's amazing. She's
You
beautiful.
like ice queens?
Ice queens.
Ice queens.
I like women that drive really fast cars.
But she's an ice queen, though.
That's fine. Did you see her Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition?
Oh, I didn't say that. I did not say that. It's different. That's different. That's totally different. I'm just saying when you see them.
I could never do anything long term with her, so I would have to back it way down to the lower level of it.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I wouldn't explore that. So I have to give some.
That would be your hall pass.
That would be my hall pass.
Right. That would be his hall
Okay.
pass. Right. But Papa, similar. I mean, you have fathered children and have been married to a female. So it's probably really close in the same range. You know what I mean? That's of the scale of the 3 to 4 to 10. Yeah, take the microphone.
Yeah, so there was no doubt. There should never be an easy answer to this because it cheapens
The emotion.
It cheapens the subject matter because there are people that truly struggle with this, and they're locked into lifestyles and lives. They have jobs, careers. They feel stuck. If you're an employee in this state, especially a public employee, and you come out and say you're gay, they can, without cause, fire you.
Mm-hmm.
And
They can.
In this day and age.
Today.
Yeah, because
so that still exists because there are not employment.
It's an at-will employment state.
There's no securities in the legislation.
At-will employment should have to do with other things.
It doesn't,
I know.
though. The sad part is whoever is in charge of hiring and firing at that.
No, wait. You can't discriminate. You can't fire someone because they're black.
Discrimination.
No, because they're black.
Trumps at-will employment. At-will employment means something completely different.
Right, but they can say it's something else.
Well, then that's what they do all the time. They do that if they want to fire someone who's African American because they don't want to, an African American.
Right. And everyone's politically savvy, especially in this state. Even if they want you gone because you're gay, they're not going to say it's because you're gay. They can.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a feedback in society that they're not going to want to hear.
Right.
So you have that, and then you have. So let me go back. So being in the closet and trying to live a life for everyone else but yourself, mom and dad, religion, God, country, whatever you want to say, it kind of directs the decisions you make when you're in the closet to try and prevent people from seeing who you really are. Because you're really not living your own life, are you? You're living a life
for everyone else.
For everyone else.
Right.
In that life, you may fall in love. And I did. In a perfect world, my ex-wife would have been my bestest friend like she is today.
Right, I was going to say, you guys are very close.
And it's because she's a saint.
She really is.
She is. Because you know me, you say that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going on, right? So you have that coming out of the closet. Okay, there's liberty and freedom. I can be me, and now we're dealing with my choices. So now I'll answer your question.
Right.
Somewhere between 2 and 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are women that you look at them, and it's rare, but there's just something about them, and it's like, oh my God, I'm turned on. And yeah, why not? Because human sexuality doesn't follow a black and white, on or off, yes or no. Human sexuality is on a curve. And that, I think individually, that curve fluctuates. It changes,
And I think it has a lot to do with personality.
Yeah. So
when you say fluctuates, you mean over time? Time of your life?
It can. Time of your life, it can change. Your mood. You may find something sexually attractive, and you may be like, yeah, let me try that for a while. Or clearly when you're young, you talked about this earlier, when you're young, you might like certain things that when you're older, you may look back and go, yeah, I don't like those things anymore. I'm not into that anymore.
Right.
Sexuality could be the same. And we have, our culture drives us to be very black and white. You're either with us or against us. That meme just follows culturally throughout all of our discussions, politically, socially. And we really need to stop doing that because it minimizes whole groups of people's experiences. And on this subject matter, it minimizes the human experience. We need to start talking frankly about, sexuality. And when we do, we're going to realize we're not very different from each other at all. But then, like Damon said, there's still a cultural stigma. And we like to think today, gays are more accepted, and don't fall for that speak of, so you guys are okay now. No, the world is still dangerous to be gay, to be homosexual. This country and parts of this country, it's still dangerous. And it's an ongoing fight. Is it better today than 30, 40, 50 years ago?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
it's still a long way to go.
There is a long way to go. And you can't get mad or rage. You have to keep on keeping on.
I don't mean
Papa
to put
did
the problem.
Not take the shot.
I didn't mean to put it there, but it seems like it's. I can equate this to like the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment. Think of this: they couldn't get, if women are more than 50% of the electorate, they could not get women to support the Equal Rights Amendment. You know damn well you're not going to get a lot of the guys, but you'll get some. But there's a significant portion of women that won't. And there's a significant portion of closeted gay people that are, I don't mean to call it self-hating, but they're going along.
Of course
it's just like being a Jewish guy working in the concentration camp. Just trying to survive in a hostile environment and say, you know what, I'll go along, I'll keep quiet, and I'll do that. And if you watch injustice going on and you realize it's wrong, then you're wrong. You're just as wrong as the people that are condemning it. And it's the duty of people that realize that it's wrong to condemn someone because of who they love. I mean, there's a guy running for president right now, and I noticed that he didn't kiss his husband when he introduced him. And he did it. It was a calculating thing. Mm-hmm. It's not that doesn't make him a bad guy that he didn't do it, but people just can't handle that. But the guy is outgoing. He's I don't know how he can belong to a religious. I mean, when you think, considering how what religion has done to people of a color, they use religion to institutionalize slavery, to demonize homosexuals, demonize women empowerment, keeping them in the home and pregnant,
wars.
and start wars, and just like that. And it's spirituality is not a bad thing, but religion is used to religion and politics is to demonize and show the other people's wrong. You have log cabin Republicans, gay people that support.
Well, you look, if you have someone who's gay who finds themselves, a conservative, especially fiscally conservative, and you can even be socially conservative and be gay. But then I would also agree with you. You have to ask yourself, if you're socially conservative and gay and a member of the Republican Party, are you at some point working against yourself? That's my question. So, log cabin Republicans are out homosexuals who are members of the Republican Party.
That's it. That's it. And that's what they're
me personally, I always see that group as socially on the social side because I'm a
that would have worked.
That
definitely would. That would definitely have worked with McCain.
Yes,
McCain would have been the classic because he was an educated man. He was open. He was fiscally conservative, but still was somewhat responsible. Being fiscally conservative does not mean you're against all social programs and things like that.
No, those are two separate.
They're two separate things.
Fiscal agendas.
Being fiscally responsible is not spending more than you have and investing in your future.
No, you also.
But it was interesting. We got into this point, and I don't mean to make light of it and stuff like that.
No, I didn't take it that you were making.
What are you laughing at?
I was, doing inappropriate things to my microphone for a moment, just to make David laugh. It worked.
What'd you do? Oh, well. Get it. Leave it to the woman to make a blowjob joke.
Oh, gee. I'm not using that microphone.
Sorry.
There we go.
I have a man cold anyway.
Okay. Well, we can always pick on this subject. It's a huge subject. But I'm going to label this a blind dates.
Blind dates. Okay. Have you ever been on a blind date before?
Oh, my God. Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've
been
on several blind dates. The one that brings to mind was I was in Philadelphia and I was at a Monday Night Football Eagles thing. My buddy he was a chef and he would put his great grilling thing on. He would just have a nice spread and we drink beers and enjoy this. And this older woman came along and she started talking about her niece. And she made her sound as if she was a cross between. Now remember, this is about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, a cross between. Let's say I got to make it contemporary, and Scarlett Johansson and Keira Knightley, right? Kind of really super sexy and super demure. And who's the one that was in the Black Swan?
There was two.
You know what I'm talking
Natalie
about?
Portman and
Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Natalie Portman. So I love all those girls, and I just had the visions of it. And she didn't show a picture, which I thought was, you're talking about a niece you love, and you have a purse, and you don't have a picture of her. And she was gorgeous, she said. Now, I was in Northeast Philadelphia. And geographically, when she set me up, she told me the name of the town, and I didn't pay attention because we didn't have Google at that time, Google Maps. So but I traveled an hour, and I didn't like to go 5 minutes because I was in a big city. And even though I was a history major, I realized within 5 minutes there were at least 10,000 available women. And if you couldn't find a woman out of 10,000, then you are too fucking picky. There's people that get married in small towns all the time. I said 10,000 women that were available within 5 minutes, and that ain't no lie.
Yeah, well, Philly's
and it probably more.
City.
It could have been 50,000. Okay, but I'm saying, and I'm thinking, unless I exhaust that market, there's no. And I drove all the way down there. Now, just there was a whole bunch of things that were misrepresentations on it. And she was a sweet girl, but she was not
Keira Knightley.
Funny.
She
was not. No, she wasn't Keira Knightley.
No.
She was very far away. And I went back to my buddy, Walt. Walt Spokes. I said, holy shit, did that lady... And I took out, I made sure I didn't do anything to commitment. I took her out to dinner, had a couple drinks. Couldn't have too many drinks, because if you had too many drinks, then I have to stay over, and then something could happen if you stay over.
Right.
Stay over, little, sneaky deaky shows up, and then you sleep together. And what do you have to do when you sleep together?
Oh, then you actually have to...
I had a couple times where I ended up going out with someone, and I had too much to drink. You ended up staying in with that woman. And one time, the woman hid my wallet. And I had spent 5 hours telling her how I was going to go out with her again and how much I cared about her before I got the wallet back and never saw her again.
It's a little psycho.
It's
I know.
very
Well,
psycho.
once again, I'm thinking, I do not like lying, but once you put me in a position, that crazy thing, like you're proving that there's no reason why we should ever go out again.
Aren't those the leave behinds, right? Like there's the leave behinds too. Like
no, this was where she took him.
That's crazy.
I had another one. I had a couple girls hold my wallet for a while, make them meet him out and all that stuff, and I met him out, and I'd say, oh yeah, and stuff like that, and they go, give me my wallet back. I'm like, fuck.
See, I've never been on a blind date before, but Papa has.
Yeah, as it turns out, one. A buddy of mine, when I was a park ranger, set me up with a friend of his girlfriend's.
Yeah.
And I was 20 years old. And we met, and she was a fairly attractive young lady. A Hispanic girl.
Caliente.
Very caliente and very Americanized.
Ooh.
A good kid, great bunch of friends that she had on her own.
Dark eyes,
and,
dark hair.
Dark hair, dark eyes, Mediterranean skin.
Yep.
So, Neria, if you're listening, thank you for the interesting sex underneath the date palm at Matheson Hammock Park. She was out of control. So it was, thank God I was 20. If the wind blew a certain way, parts of me would stand at attention. And, but it was insane. And there was so much sex that it lasted a month, and I broke it off. Because it was just...
It was all about that.
It was just all about that. Yeah. It was overwhelming, and coming from a very evangelical, conservative home, it posed a problem. How am I? Because my parents are going to read this right on my face.
Yeah.
And so I'd put an end to it, but it was interesting. I will tell you this.
That's a fuck face.
Oh, yes.
Okay, but so, like,
and
isn't
my
that,
dad could read right through that.
Like, the blind dates of then would be so equivalent
Well, it's not
to
a blind date. The blind date was the initiation that he did. After that, that was the
right, but
early infatuation.
The internet dating
thing
freaks me out.
Was
like, I don't know.
If I was
single, I couldn't.
Date.
First date. First date on a blind date.
I'm saying.
That's pretty good. Well, wait. I know. Wait. First date. I did first dates. I did stoplight meets. Stoplight meet.
What the heck is that?
Girl pulls up next to you at the stoplight. And you point over to the side of the road and you pull over. That happens. That happens.
That does not happen.
Yes, it does. It happens.
Oh, yes, it does.
Horse. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I know. I was a whore.
I know. I was a whore.
There was one. There was a young lady who was an entertainer. She wasn't a stripper. Mm-hmm. She was a DJ. And we met on a big holiday night. And we ended up hooking up. And, oh, my God, I was such a little liar talking about how much. I mean, we'd hang out and, like, for like a day. If I was off and go over to her house for a day and say, I'll call you. And then we'd call her for 2 weeks and she'd be all angry and then call her, don't worry, I'll be back. Don't worry, sweetheart, I'll be back. I did that. It was so bad. I was so bad at that time. I was.
Again, though, so the blind dates of then.
It wasn't a blind date. That wasn't a blind date.
Well, okay, well,
that was a first date. And there was one a happy hour date.
date.
You ever hear the happy hour date?
Yeah, I heard about your happy hour.
Happy hour date. I met her at the beginning of happy hour, brought her back to
to finish
loft,
happy hour.
and then came back and finished the last hour happy hour.
Yeah. So isn't that a lot like internet dating now? Like
And then
all
it was
I
the
think about
bingo
is like
date. The
Shannon at
bingo
work.
date.
You know, like on
The bingo date.
on the Tinder app. You had a bingo date?
Well, the girl was at a place with her grandmother. They had a bingo party.
Who'd you take out, the grandmother or the girl?
The girl. The girl
Good
was.
question, though.
The girl was
Bingo. I mean-
19. I was 27. And the girl said she met me when I was when she was 17. And I said we didn't go out. And she goes, no. But you were so nice to me, and I had real different color hair. But she turned into a really nice 19-year-old. And her mom, she was at a bingo party, and she was dressed up really nice. I said, holy crap, there was a bunch of older ladies and some middle-aged ladies, a couple of younger ones, and this one gorgeous redhead. And I said, well, you're all dressed up. I got dressed up for you. I said, no, you didn't. She goes,
gotta
yes.
watch out for the
2 years-
redheads.
I was hoping you were still here. I said, 2 years later? 2 years later in a catering establishment? So, no, well, she wasn't that infatuated because we didn't go. We hooked up a couple times. She just, it may have been possible that she was.
She
but
just liked you.
But for 3-4 times, in separate incidents. Could have been 12 times. But, yeah, so this is like where she goes, yeah. And then we went and had a drink. Had a drink with her mom.
Of course
Her
you
mom was gorgeous. Almost went out with the mom after that. The mom was gorgeous. She was about 10 years older than me. 10, 12 years older than me. I was in 20. No, she had to be close to 40. The girl was 19. And I was 27. So, yeah. It's just a myriad of a long life. I'm 55 years old.
Okay, but have you ever done the internet dating thing? Because that's what I was trying to compare.
Never met anybody
Right.
on the internet. I'm post-internet.
Like,
You're post-internet.
But like
You're
the
not
blind-
post-internet.
The blind dates of then seem to be more like internet dating now because you're like hooking up or meeting people that you have no idea.
You don't
who
have
they
any
are.
idea on the internet.
Their pictures
They're
probably
lying.
aren't
They're
even
lying.
accurate.
On the internet, they're intentionally lying to you.
They're
At least
lying-
in person,
right.
you can kind of read them, right? You can see. On the internet, they
It's
tell you anything.
crazy.
They'll tell you anything.
Well, you know the rule about dating a girl, right?
Or a guy, what?
Take her swimming. Wash the makeup off because that's when you see who the person is.
Well, I can tell. I know makeup.
Well, there's some YouTube videos that'll fool you.
Yes.
Well, I could tell. I really can
Okay,
tell.
I'm winning this war right now since I don't wear makeup.
No, when they're overdone,
I saw you in
I've
makeup
seen some
twice
really.
in my
I can
life.
see.
I know.
I see the pancake. I can tell the pancake stuff.
Right once.
When it's flawless, if it's Barbie doll stuff, it's no. When you see some flaws, you're going, oh well, there you go. Just some. I just seen
Ladies,
a couple.
Flaws are attractive.
Flaws
There was a
are
girl
good.
I worked with who had a kind of a wart right here.
Oh, on the side of her nose, on the bridge
Never
of her
had
nose
it
on the
removed. I knew she was beautiful.
Well, she was
because
confident
hiding.
enough in herself to
Yep.
leave it.
Yes.
Confidence is sexy, ladies.
Yes,
You
yep.
don't have to paint it on.
side. No, you do.
Or
not.
men.
Well, men don't typically wear makeup.
Men.
Well,
Okay.
Oh,
If
you'd
you
be
go to
surprised.
Miami
Yeah,
Beach,
there we
you're
go.
gonna see
This
men
is where
in makeup.
This is where we.
But you're also going to see men in
We're just
skirts
as
and
vain.
heels.
I'm somewhat vain. I work out hard. I work out hard to somewhat maintain
yes, but
a
you
shape
don't
that I
use-
can't market anymore.
You don't have to market. You're
you don't
married.
need to mar-
I know, but it's like keeping a fire extinguisher charged. You don't need it, but someday, in a case of emergency, you might need it. I pulled that out of my ass. Was that? I like that. It's pretty good. It's like you have to have it.
You know, our friend Walter said
Damon,
to
it's
Tyler,
just remember when I go work out again, it's like keeping a fire extinguisher in the house. You never know.
Well, wait a second.
The way that I read that is it's an escape plan.
No. Oh, wait. Number two, there's levels. Right. The other one is so I could keep up with a younger a younger spouse.
I have a younger spouse.
No, so I
Again,
can keep
exit
up.
plan.
And so I worked out. I worked out really hard, so I don't get tired and I don't feel older in comparison because she works out pretty hard.
Yeah.
And number 3, the stupid shit I did was making my avocation into a vocation, the spinning thing. Because then I go into the class and, you're the spinning instructor? You look like the deputy from, you look like Otis from, yeah, you're right. Mayberg. I swear to God, I could get there right away. The way I eat, I could get there right away. But I'm a.
But you know what? Though you don't like color your hair and you leave all of your like wisdom grays.
You know what?
And
I think it kind of makes, if you stay true to certain things and don't the reason I explained why I didn't get a tattoo for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because it would have looked at, it would have looked at.
It would have looked it.
It would have looked affected, like an affectation that I did it on purpose to appear younger. And the only reason I got the tattoo now was because I wanted to do the interview. And I thought, how could I talk about how great this place is? One or two.
That place really is amazing.
Talk about, and then I have a reason to get one. And I say, I'm doing it for the show. And I'll do anything for the show.
Yes, that's
I'll
true.
do anything except a face tattoo.
Okay, you know what, though? Maybe we should have his asshole bleached on the show. I mean, you've been talking about assholes for the last 2 episodes.
But no one really takes a look at it that closely. I don't know. I don't know.
More people would, Jim, if your scale wasn't so close to 8.
I'm thinking about it. I'm looking right now. I'm not at a loss for words. I'm thinking about it. I go, wait a second. How does that work here? And I go, but it just seems like
you're already hairless. It would be pretty easy to.
Holy shit.
Asshole.
That would probably, or you know what?
You can get an at-home kit.
No, forget
do
about
it in the privacy
Forget
of your
about
house.
that. Oh, I got one better.
Okay, I want to hear
I got one better. A wax.
You want to do a wax? A butthole wax?
No, I don't want to. But that would be a good podcast. That would be wax. That would be good. That would be a good podcast. But I'd be afraid.
It would be a bunch of screaming.
Yeah, and you could get infected though if if it's a lot of hair.
Well, you're definitely probably going to get ingrowns.
I don't want to get any of that. No,
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
I'm not a
no. That's
hairy
crazy.
Person,
if there's a reason, I don't want to get an
true.
infected asshole from having my ingrown hair near my rectum.
If you pull out the hair follicle, it doesn't typically grow back as an ingrown.
It doesn't?
Usually happens if you just shave.
Oh.
Because then the top of the
we
hair
gets stuck below the skin.
gets stuck below
so you don't have to worry
surface.
about that.
No, if you wax it, it pulls the whole damn thing out.
Yeah, you wax
Okay,
it, pulls it
so
out.
no. Is there any?
No.
Is there any possibility
it comes back
infection?
in?
Very
no, very, very
small.
little.
You just have to stay
You
clean.
would probably maybe get some irritation because you do a spin instruction.
And because
Fuck
you
yeah.
are very
well, I would
white
do
guy.
it. I would do it on a Monday afternoon or Tuesday because I don't have to spin again. Here we go.
Just get some
You know what?
powder.
I'm in fucking. We're near Miami, so there's. Hey, listen.
It's called.
Sorry, I'm a really bad co-host because you guys are making me laugh so hard I can't even
So
hold
what?
my microphone by my face.
Don't laugh at it. We're talking seriously.
Jim, go on Amazon. There's
Yeah?
a powder. It's called monkey butt.
Monkey butt.
Monkey butt. It's a powder for your crack. It keeps the whatever.
Wait a
Chafing.
second. The only
Chafing.
reason I would do it is for the podcast to go to some place and get to interview them and find out because otherwise, just getting one and having it irritating.
You might like it.
Well, it comes.
Wait a second.
2 days of irritation.
I am not. Don't try to get me not to do it by saying that. Don't pull this Freudian reverse psychology on me because that doesn't. All I care about is would it be good podcasting? It used to
could
be good
imagine.
radio or good television. Would it be good podcasting?
Right.
I do not give a shit about that.
we would have
I
to-
do not give a shit at all.
We would have to advertise
I don't.
it to make sure
We-
that we maximized in on listeners because
Yes.
I'm sure there are a lot of people.
I bet in Key West
I
there's
bet
probably
there's a lot
place
of
you
people
can do
that
it.
have always
there
wanted
are
to have
places in Key Largo that
their
do waxing.
butts.
No, but
There's a
wouldn't
lot
we
of
want to
people.
go someplace that we could maximize our advertising power?
Well,
So it'd
if
have
you
to be
want a
Key West.
road trip to get your ass waxed, then
Good point. You don't want to be on a long trip after
No,
you have
you
your
have to sit
asshole
in a
waxed.
car.
You don't want 3 hours.
I'll buy the donut.
Okay, so
That is an interesting
it is
offer.
very interesting. It is.
I'm going to forego that until after Poland.
Yes, come back from Poland.
Because if I go to, I think some of my relatives in Poland understand English very well. And if I go to the wedding, I don't need to spend a couple hours explaining that part. But then again, it could be a good conversation
It
piece.
really could.
Would you like to see my
my
wax asshole?
and my non-swastika coat of arms on the side of my arm. Yes, that would be better. I bet you they
You're
would
bleeding
rather
into the next. Oh, no
hear
pun intended. Bleeding into. Hey, there's a bleed.
no.
I'm gonna. No more white underwear.
no more.
Oh my God.
Now I think that
We're contemplating this too.
it would be a cool idea for you to get waxed on air. I mean, you got tattooed on air. What else can you do?
You know what? You're not thinking in the long run. You know what? You know you're not thinking about it. Because if I do a lot of stuff, then other listeners start to say, "Why don't you start doing some of that stuff?" So you don't think ahead.
Me?
Yes, because you're acting like
I'm
you're a little prudish.
I'm nearly hairless, and
There's other things.
and I have tattoos. Many.
No, there's other things.
Other
There's
things?
other
Oh,
things.
like what?
I don't know, but there's.
I can
we're going to
come up
have
with some stuff.
There's other. Damon
Damn,
can come up with
Damon.
stuff. You got to be careful because you got to play a long game.
Yeah.
The long game goes on for years.
That's all right. I'm not a.
It
chicken.
does. Okay. Remember what our friend Luke did when he was playing his long game with the vibrating butt plug? Got a shutout of the
We got
currently out of the Lover's Boutique.
Yes, which nobody
But
knew
I
about
think
the whacking jacker at work, or the walking jacker at work the other day.
They
I
didn't
brought
know
up. No.
the
I'm like, don't
adult
you read the
boutique
news?
didn't know.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's right. Like 90% of the staff that I have at work didn't even hear about it. They had no idea I was talking about the walking jacker. They had no idea.
Maybe someday we can. No, I'd have to consult a lawyer to see if we can have him to do an impromptu performance at one of the businesses. No, but if we pay, then we'd be liable for inciting that. But
Well, you don't have to pay. You just get their approval to make sure that there's no outsiders in there.
I don't. I am
You're gonna
not
have to consult
the least
somebody
about. But
for
a
when you
guy
get
that
your
would
asshole
walk
waxed.
to the Lover's Boutique and be able to walk and jerk off at the same
With
time.
his pants around his
I don't
ankles.
need that. No, no. There's no way he was walking with his pants.
That's what I'm
down.
saying. I still don't know.
He
the
had the
next-
zipper. Unless he was wearing like a soft separating sweatpants.
or like
I
board
mean
shorts.
that's very abrasive.
That's what I was saying.
That's very
It's like
abrasive.
he either had to be like walking down the street with no pants at all. Where'd
It's
your
like a
pants go?
real
I don't know,
fucking
they're
toothy
not.
blowjob.
Or
You know what I'm saying?
Messing
You know what I'm
with-
saying?
yeah.
It's like if you ever see those in the movie Count. What was it? Bram Stoker's Dracula. Those hot
Brown Strokers. Is that the one that had?
Gary Oldman and
yeah. Okay.
yeah, and they had those hot girls that were in it, and you see their teeth, and they're going like, and like, no way, or is that ecstasy so much that I'm looking at anybody, guy or girl, with pointy teeth, and thinking that's a good idea for you to go anywhere near south of the border. I don't want you near my shoulder or neck. You think you're going to go down there?
And I'm the prude.
Not a prude. I mean the fangs.
I know. I'm just teasing you.
Oh, okay.
It's all right.
Okay.
You got to dish
Well,
out and
it's-
take it at the same time.
Well, it doesn't make me restrictive. I'm just doing the fangs. There's sharp
You
teeth.
might like it.
Well, do you ever? Obviously, you're not. When you're young and you first discover masturbating, sometimes you over.
Yeah, worst days of my life.
Yeah, you overdo it, and it's abrasive.
You rub a freaking hole in the thing.
Yeah. Oh my God!
You're still trying to figure out what the hell
it's
you're
like
doing.
you're a fucking seaman. I mean, a sailor on a British ship, and you just stole all the fucking rum, and they're going to whip you to death. That's what you did to your penis.
And then you can't play with it for
No,
a
you
freaking
can't.
week because it's
no
got a damn
week.
scab.
Yeah, it's all on tatters, like a flag that's at the Battle of 1812. You can make a song about it. Oh, say, can you see my ragged ass penis? Okay, I don't know
Got
how we
beat
came
by
up
me.
with that. Yeah. You're right. Because of the battle flag, how you get all torn
It's
up.
funny because David's actually told me this story before.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
happens.
It happens. It's a real thing. Because you know why they do it? Because it feels good.
Well, you're still
It
trying to
feels-
figure it out, and then at a certain point, it becomes a challenge of, well, how many times can I do this?
Yeah, and at the last time,
The last time,
that was it.
But then you're so invested in it that you're like, well, I have
You
to
gotta
finish.
finish
I
because you
understand that
heard it
burns.
already.
I know what I've already done. I'm not going to make it any worse, but I can't go to bed like this.
Exactly.
Or I can't go to school like this.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know what? That's
Women think it's funny, and they're like, oh, I'd love to have
Yeah,
a
if you
penis for a day.
flagellate your
No, you
vagina.
wouldn't, because scabs suck.
Oh,
they do.
no. I will tell you, if I had one for a day, I would not leave the house.
And you would be in excruciating
No,
pain
I probably would
by
be
the end of the day.
No, you
But-
couldn't do it all day.
But how cool would that be? Like, I want to play with one of those things all day long.
If you did it day, you would have to live with it for at least a week.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
of
week.
course. As my
Yeah,
husband
you
is
don't
doing
get to
it.
put a scab on it and then get rid of it.
I'm not saying that I would.
You would end up with one. It happens.
I'm a girl. We've been through worse. Childbirth.
Okay.
You know
things
what?
like
There's
that.
got to
No.
be that would be probably be a great selling point for a certain lotion.
I have
Yeah.
to. I have to just point something out.
Okay.
Men have this problem. Okay, it's called morning wood.
Oh yeah, I like morning wood.
All right. You ever busted your knee and the scab grows while you're, it dries while you're asleep and your leg's straight,
And you
when
bend
you get
it.
out of bed and you bend it and it hurts like hell.
Oh yeah.
Try
Imagine on
being
your-
woken up because
on your
of an
vagina.
involuntary erection because the scab stretched.
That only lasts a week.
Only lasts
And
a
then
week.
you have a scar, and now you have a soft spot. So guess what happens next time?
You gotta move your hand a little bit.
Yeah, but you like what you like, and you do what you do. A righty's a righty.
And you're going to do it. You're going to do it
You're gonna
again.
do it again.
As soon as it heals,
That's
you're
what
going to
I'm
do it again.
saying.
And you're thinking in your head,
Well, you're
I
literally
mean,
in
I'm
the
used
shower,
to it,
like,
so it's whatever
Picking the
doesn't
scab,
kill me
like,
makes me
"I've gotta
stronger.
do this.
You think you think like a bro. You're not going to break it in the same place anymore. It's not going to happen.
No,
and
and
it
you're-
happens.
You're cautious for a week, I'm going to hold it a little different, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then
You
what
always you don't realize you got sandpaper. That's your hand. Your hand is sandpaper.
Okay, so maybe I would just use a lot of lube. I would just have some lube.
Guess what gave
No,
me the
no.
scab?
You know what? It
The
always
lube
gets
gave you
through.
the
It
scab?
Well, it
always
was shampoo.
Yeah, you go faster.
Oh,
You go
yeah.
faster. It's
When
When it
abrasion.
dries up, it gets sticky, and then there you go.
I still would.
There's a scab.
I don't care. Suffer a week of suffering. Come on.
No, we
I've
do
had-
mark
I've had-
explicit,
I've had
but
3
if
children,
you
I'll
are
deal with a week
14
of
years
suffering.
old, take heed to this.
I want to have one for a day.
Learn from our advice.
That's what I'm saying.
Learn from our advice.
Can't.
Don't over masturbate, young guys.
If I had one,
Or
I'd
women.
play with it all the time.
I mean, is there such a thing?
It's just
You
like
know what? I
boobs.
got to find out. We're going to have to get girls with that overdo it with the dildos.
Yeah, you'd have to do something. But you know what?
Not.
I'm
every
just
woman.
thinking that
No.
if you do it, there's never zero abrasion.
Yeah, but you don't ever
Is
hear
there's no-
about. Maybe it's because women don't talk about it. Men are more open in talking about masturbation than women.
Yeah, yeah. What? I don't know. I used to
I
have
don't
a
know.
friend of
Girls
mine.
are
She'd bring out the
nasty,
dancing
dude.
dildo, and we made a song about it. Turn it on, and the vibrator's going. We go dildo. We made it. It sounded like dreidel, 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 which is a shame to my Jewish friends. But
What a
dildo,
good
dildo,
Jewish girl.
dildo. We made it out of latex, and it danced around. And then she'd turn it off, and whoever it pointed to, they had to drink.
Ah.
You thought you had to whip out
I
their
know,
dildo.
I was like,
How about
no.
I have to stick the dildo up there?
Yeah, that.
Oh, you like it?
Hoagie
Okay,
was
well,
a little
it's
excited
it's
about that one.
55 minutes after.
55.
5
wow.
minutes. 55 minutes.
Oh, and that was Hoagie. Hoagie.
And we
says
cut
hi to
into the
everyone.
prime masturbating time for a lot of you. So
So
I'd
don't
like to
do it
say
too
thank
much.
you.
No
What?
scabs.
No scabs. Use your lotion. Remember, 3 times is enough. 3 times enough.
It is. Fourth
If you,
one,
if-
you're gonna
right
get a scab.
before, once you find out your limit, don't do it. And if you're in the construction trades, maybe once.
Or put on a latex glove.
A latex
Your
glove, yeah.
hands are a little callous.
Yeah, or pay a Laotian woman to do it for you,
Asian
maybe.
massage.
Asian massage. They always the happiest of ending. The number 5, I think it's called, on the list. But number 6 would be leaving a review for us on
Number
iTunes
6 would be-
or Spotify or iHeartRadio, and that would raise our visibility. Raise it, make it
that
harder
we would
for people not to find us.
Wake up in the morning
Yeah.
and be very pleased.
Yes,
to
and whenever,
all
if
of
you
the
like to drive us a note,
positive reviews.
drop us a note. How many times you masturbated in the last week? That's
Yeah,
great too.
if, drop us a note. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. If whatever, tell us about your technique.
We'll expose you as we're being exposed.
No names, of course.
Unless you say we
Unless
can.
you
Yes.
want your name.
Yeah,
out.
we'll ask you. We'll send you an email
We'll
back
make you
and stuff like
famous.
that. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's all right too. For now, I'd like to thank Damon,
Good night.
Papa Joe,
Bye.
Tyler, if you can point it back to him,
Bye, everybody.
and Jenna Kelly. This is Jim the Keys bartender.
Right, guys.
Yeah, keep it in your pants.